what is our second main topic today?
Our second main topic comes to us from The Sky Blaze. Deadline reports that Westworld's planned final season has been canceled. However, the entire main cast is still being paid for the canceled season due to play or pay contracts. With that in mind, is minimizing but not eliminating costs from cutting the show worth tarnishing the legacy of a show that was once considered a Game of Thrones level flagship for the network? If even their top invested shows can be cut short before getting a proper send-off, should we be concerned for other HBO shows like Succession being cut short before their time under the new leadership? John, what do you think? Does this cancellation, did it surprise you?
Honestly, no. I'll be honest with you again. I didn't even 100% know that the show was still on.
Wow.
And as far as your question, let me jump ahead a bit. As far as your question about, if this can happen to this show, can it happen to these other shows? Well, if all the other shows start to shit the bed, then yeah, they should be worried. Because here's the reality. We talked about this on yesterday's show a little bit. Being dead honest, I don't personally know anybody who's still watching Westworld. Like, is anybody in the room still watching it? Nope.
Stopped.
Ray?
Nope.
Not Taylor?
Nope.
Not Jonathan? Not Kaylee? Not Chris? Not
I
Rob?
never started. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I watched it when it first started too. I don't, now obviously there are still some people watching the show. I'm just saying I don't personally know. I don't have a personal relationship with anybody still watches it. I watched it for the first season and a half, and about midway through season 2, I just tapped out. It just wasn't for me. But look, the reason why Westworld got canceled, there's not some intricate thing about cost cutting no, it's actually a very age-old story about shows getting canceled on TV. Nobody watched it. This comes to us from the folks over at the Hollywood Reporter who write the following. Yet linear ratings for the pricey series fell off sharply for its third season, and then the ratings dropped even further for the fourth season. Westworld's critic average on Rotten Tomatoes likewise declined from the mid-80s for its first 2 seasons to the mid-70s for the latter 2. Fans increasingly griped that the show had become confusing and tangled in its mythology and lacked characters to root for. Looming over all of this is the fact that Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav has pledged aggressive cost-cutting, though network insiders maintained that saving money was not a factor in this show's cancellation. This is just one of those situations where people stopped watching the show, and it's an expensive show, and it was no longer so. Why would we put up a crap ton of money, of our money, to finish out a show that the audience didn't like as much anymore, that hardly any of them were still watching? What network would keep that show going? And listen, I say that with all due respect, because I'm sure there are people out there who have loved season 3 and 4 of Westworld. That's awesome. That's great. But it got 4 seasons, which is more than most shows get. People just stopped watching it, and the decision was made to pull the plug on an expensive show that people weren't watching. It's not rocket science, unfortunately. So it's sad for people who were kind of looking to get that 5th season. I know Jonathan Nolan was talking about the fact that they hoped they were going to get a 5th season. It didn't work out, but there's no real mystery to be solved here. Anyway, Chris, you hear about this. We found out on Friday about the Westworld cancel. Were you surprised to hear about it? Do you think there's more behind it, or do you think this is straightforward? What do you think?
No, I wasn't surprised at all. And I think our viewer here too, in your own question, you answer this because you say, is it worth tarnishing the legacy of a show that was once considered a Game of Thrones level flagship for the network? It's not considered that anymore.
Yeah, nobody considers
No one
that
considers that. It's really, really petered off, and they've lost the plot. So I think that, we talk about how winning cures everything.
Yeah.
Losing really messes you up.
Yeah.
You got to constantly be winning in this industry to keep your show afloat. And I think that is what we learned from this is, hey, your show has to be consistently good. You have to get viewers. You have to have eyes on it. Otherwise, it doesn't matter if you were once a good show, right? If Tom Brady stopped being able to do what he does, no one would be like, oh, well, we like him. Let's keep him in the game. I don't assume sports works that way.
Yeah, it kind of does work that way.
Oh, really? They're going to be like, Tom Brady, you suck, but let's keep you? Do they do that?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
It's done. By the way, just a little side note, at 43 or 44 years of age, he's second in the league in passing yards and number 1 in the league in touchdown to interception ratio.
That's
and
why
just
he was-
became the first player to pass for over 100,000 yards.
That's why he was
All
in the
hail the
brain.
GOAT.
Like you were talking about him before the show, and I was like, yeah, he's a older player who is consistently proving like I can keep up and I can do everything.
Yeah.
You've got to do that in this industry or any other.
one day he's just going to get tackled and his entire body will fail.
This is
No,
also
it's
true.
he's gonna Thanos turn to dust.
Yeah.
It's like at some
Whoa.
point someone's gonna hit him and it's just like he's just gonna explode into a puff of smoke. Anyway, Rob, getting back over to you. I know you watched Westworld like me.
I did.
But eventually you apparently fell off the show too. But
Yeah,
I
I
know
mean-
what do you think? Is this that big of a surprise of an announcement?
No, first of all, it's not a surprise at all. And I think what really bothered me about the fate of this show is it had the technical aspects of the show were beautiful. The acting was great. The characters were great. But they didn't know what to do with the show. It was clear to me after the first season, I'm like, this show, they're too clever for their own good.
Oh, wow.
They don't know where the show's going to go, which was proven in seasons 3. Well, I haven't watched season 4. And the show had so much potential, but it was a show that there are few shows that I've watched in my life where I'm like, this show is too clever it's not as clever as the creators think it is. And it's overly convoluted for viewers. And I'm like, you know what it felt? It felt like I was listening to some college professor that was so far up their own ass and they thought their own thesis was so amazing and that we as their students should be bowing down to them.
That's a lot of professors.
That's kind of how
Still all college professors.
that's kind of how this show felt. And I'm like, guys, you need to read a little bit more science fiction to make this show as good as you think it is, because you haven't. And it was bared out, and it bummed me out because like people like Jeffrey Wright was so good.
He's
in the
so
role.
amazing. You got Anthony Hopkins and
Yeah. And I could watch Ed Harris read the phone book. Just look at his face. I was watching Top Gun Maverick over the weekend, and he's in the movie for like 5 minutes. I'm like, I could just watch a movie about that guy sitting in his office yelling at people.
And Evan Rachel Wood, that's
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
She is.
Fantastic.
Anyway,
Fantastic. She's
Kaylee, did you ever
fantastic
watch?
I did.
Did you watch what
I did.
ultimately
I
made you
tapered
kind
off
of tail off of it?
Off of what you said, it just got too convoluted. It got muddy. I didn't know where they were taking
Muddy
me.
is a good word.
That it got muddy, and so I bounced. I was out.
All right, guys. Question is for you. Were you surprised to hear about the cancellation of Westworld? Maybe you're like some people, like you didn't even know it was still going. I don't know. What do you think about this whole situation? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of this episode, Amazon Pharmacy. Now, if you're anything like me, you dread going to the pharmacy. You never know what the hours are. You never know what you're going to pay. You're worried about being stuck in a huge line. And that's why you're going to love Amazon Pharmacy. Amazon Pharmacy delivers a better pharmacy experience that delivers directly to your door and works with most insurance plans. Amazon Pharmacy helps you save time, save money, and stay healthy. There's transparent pricing so you'll know exactly what you'll pay before you pay it. Prime members can also save up to 80% on their prescriptions. And like I mentioned earlier, Amazon Pharmacy works with most insurance plans. And this is one of the best parts. If you ever have any questions or problems, real pharmacists are always available at Amazon Pharmacy no matter what time of day or night. Your medication gets delivered to your door, so there's no more rushing out to the store hoping to get there before they close. Amazon Pharmacy is a pharmacy that works for your life, with meds delivered to your door. It doesn't get any better than that. Switch to Amazon Pharmacy and save time, save money, and stay healthy. Learn more at amazon.com/Campea. That's amazon.com/Campea. Average savings based on usage and inside RX data as compared to cash prices. Average savings for all generics are 78%, 37% for select brand medications. Restrictions apply.